The paint's not even dry on the Canon EOS R6 Mark III. The announcement's due this Thursday at 1 AM, but we already have a source coming forward with information about the Canon EOS R7 Mark II. Will it be a baby R1, a major departure from previous 7 series cameras? Will the R7 Mark II be a mini R5 Mark II, getting the exact same treatment that the R6 Mark III is also getting? The R7 Mark II, a segment-leading camera, once again, leapfrogging the competition, giving us non-pro photographers a camera with the pro treatment, setting the R7 II above the competition. A camera that's designed less for technical specs and more for the passion of photography. Click subscribe and we'll provide you with an updated date range, a new exciting specification, and Canon's plans for the R7 Mark II. Hi, I'm Simon, your friendly hobbyist wildlife photographer who's looking for a crop censored camera that he can pair with his 100 to 500mm f4.5 to 7.1. Pro photographers like Joshua Halku use the Canon R1, the R3, and lenses like the 400mm f2.8 to land cover shot after cover shot, month after month. Most of us aren't producing the kind of work to land our next photo on the cover of a wildlife magazine. We're doing it for the passion, as a pastime, for the lack of a better term, for the art of photography. Feeding the soul kind of work, where we aren't as focused on the technical, the specifications, or even what's the best camera for the job, but getting outside in the beauty of nature, smelling the crisp air, smelling those leaves as they're decaying in the fall. It's about trying to find the camera that allows us to focus on that and forget about all the technical side. And if you felt that the Canon EOS R7 Mark I got in the way of that, got in the way of your passion, well, a news source has come forward claiming that the Canon EOS R7 Mark II will be a big departure from its predecessor, and that we should expect something like an APS-C EOS R6 Mark III. Something more like an EOS R6 Mark III. Well, the first thing I have to say is anonymous sources are always a little bit risky, but what this anonymous source is saying aligns with what we've been told before. We were told back in May that the Canon EOS R7 Mark II will potentially be something like a baby EOS R1 with an APS-C sensor. And what's really interesting about that statement is that when the R6 first came out, it was actually talked about as being basically a mini 1DX Mark III. It basically had a lot of the similar specifications. In fact, it was better in some areas. A baby R1 getting the R6 Mark III treatment. The R6 Mark III, as it stands, is essentially a mini Canon EOS R5 Mark II. A camera full of capabilities allowing us to reach for the stars, both literally and figuratively. Allowing us to capture through the camera what we see in our mind's eye. A camera not hindered by compromise, finally treating a crop-censored camera as a true flagship APS-C camera. I'll admit that what we're getting here is weak and lacking specification, but for pixel peepers, we do have one specification that might be of interest. The EOS R7 Mark II will have a brand new stacked CMOS sensor. Depending on how fast Canon goes with the readout speed on this new sensor, this could result in better low-light performance, which is great for wildlife photographers. But that's a big if. If Canon keeps everything else about the Mark I the same and just gives us a stacked sensor does provide better low-light performance. But Canon isn't going to keep everything the same. They're going to increase the readout speed so we can get more usable shots in electronic mode, a problem with the Mark I. And when we increase the readout speed, well, we do add noise into the image. We saw this with the Canon EOS R5 Mark II. It got a brand new stacked sensor, but Canon dramatically increased the readout speed from 16.3 milliseconds to 6.3 milliseconds. To most photographers, this was a welcomed improvement. That like shooting in dawn and dusk, the R5 Mark II introduced more noise at high ISO, making the Mark I a far better camera for shooting wildlife. It's no secret that the Canon R7 Mark II was expected to be announced in 2025, thanks to a few wily-eyed publications. But that changed. We've been told that it won't come until late Q1 2026 at the earliest. And if you'll recall, back in 2024, we heard the same things about the Canon EOS R5 Mark II and the R1. And you know what happened? We didn't get the announcement until Q3. No worries. We've got our hands full with the Canon EOS R6 Mark III, which will be announced this coming Thursday at 1 a.m. in the morning, and we'll be providing live coverage with our expert guest panel starting at midnight. Don't blame me if I look a little bit tired. So back to the R7 Mark II, late Q1 2026. Now, one thing we think that this could line up with is CP+. A CP+ 2026 announcement would be my best guess, but a guess with not a lot behind it. What do you think? Do you happen to have any information that can validate or contradict this anonymous source? If so, please reach out to me at simonDyates@gmail.com, and I'll keep your identity a secret, even though I'm having trouble learning to speak. Now, as we come close to Black Friday, we're starting to see the best prices of the year for Canon, Nikon, Panasonic, and even Sony with this killer of a deal, the A7 IV at $1998, the best price ever. We're also seeing $300 off top shelf lenses like the RF 24-70mm f2.8. Please consider using my affiliate links to B&H and Adorama in the United States, Wex Photo and Video in the United Kingdom, and Photoca in Europe. And David, thank you for reaching out to me and letting me know what you plan on doing. Thank you so much for everyone for supporting this channel. It's very much appreciated. For each purchase, I get a small commission back of anywhere from 2 to 5%, helping to keep the lights on, the key light, the fill light, and the small lights behind me. And what this does is this gives me an opportunity to avoid having those long Squarespace and VPN sponsorships, which I absolutely hate. Now, a lot of us tolerate those ads on YouTube, but many of us also pay YouTube so we don't have to watch them. And having to watch a sponsorship ad when you're paying not to have ads, well, it's a little bit frustrating. So that's why I like to use these affiliate links and talk about it in every video. Thank you so much for your support. It's very much appreciated. Anyhow, cheers. We got another video coming out for you tomorrow. Have yourself a great day, a great weekend, and we'll see you soon, very soon, tomorrow.